Okay, so after a weird year, there is finally light at the end of the 2020 tunnel. MHRA, the UK's medicine regulator, has approved the Pfizer BioNTech coronavirus vaccine after it demonstrated up to 95% protection against COVID-19. But the government is concerned with low uptake and has already unveiled plans to enlist the help of celebrities and public figures to help encourage people to get vaccinated. Will you be queuing at first opportunity to get the vaccine, or do you have reservations? And do you think the government's campaign will help people who are on the fence about getting vaccinated?
Let me take this one, ladies. Now, will I be queuing? Queuing, probably not. I'm not at the top of the list of the people who are going to get it in the first batch anyway. I don't meet the age requirement. I don't meet the health requirements. So for me, I doubt I'm going to be queuing. I definitely have some reservations about long-term effects, but nothing that would actually stop me from taking the vaccine. I believe that the government definitely wants to find a cure. Let me say that tentatively. A cure for the pandemic, and I don't think that they're going to put people's lives in danger. Now, the only reason why I say that is not because I think they care about us, but it's affected the economy so badly. They want to get it up and running. So I think whatever they can do to do that in the safest way possible, I think that they're going to do that. And I think, therefore, for me, the vaccine is something that I believe can be trusted, because they're going to have to give it to frontline workers. If NHS staff start falling down dead from what's in the
Country's
vaccine,
dead. Country's
exactly.
over.
We're all screwed.
Finished.
Like, it doesn't make sense for them to release something that isn't going to actually meet the tests, the vigorous testing system that they've put it through. So that's my opinion. Oh, in terms of the celebrities, I think that, to be honest, I think the controversy's gone too far. I think it's so far out there. I don't know if they can reel it back. It's like when you see those Trump supporters just saying a madness. Like, once it's gone full hog, I just think it's only people who are really going to think about it who are going to take it. I don't think enlisting celebrities is going to do anything.
I actually thought the opposite, because I saw that there was a couple of politicians that have already volunteered to take the vaccination live on television. Boris Johnson and Barack Obama being two of those politicians. And I think that Boris Johnson said that he will take Boris and Barack are open to taking the vaccination on television at the moment. And I think it would be a really good idea if they actually follow through with it. I think in terms of celebrities, what they said, I was reading an article and they said they're going to enlist serious celebrities. No, sensible celebrities. And then my mind immediately went to Marcus Rashford, because all we've done during 2020 is sing his praises, and rightfully so. And then literally a sentence later, the article was like, footballer Marcus Rashford, who has been praised for his charity work, is being considered for the campaign. And I'm like, yeah, this makes sense. So celebrities like that, I actually do think will positively influence people who might not think it's safe. The thing that I'm happiest about is that it's not going to be mandatory. Boris said that, we're not going to do that in the UK, at least. We are going to encourage people to take the vaccination, but we're not going to force people to take the vaccination, which I think is fantastic, because freedom of choice, you guys already know how I feel about that. But I actually think because I read that for this to be effective, I read that 60 to 70% of people need to volunteer to take it. So I think if not enough people do it voluntarily, the incentives are going to start to become a little bit more intense, because I think during this whole pandemic, what we've experienced at least is being in this together. So we all know it's not like everyone else is outside having fun and I just have to stay locked inside my bedroom. Like, no, everyone is on lockdown. The nation's on lockdown. At one point, the whole world was. So I think something that's really kept people going is knowing that it's not just happening to them. Like, everyone is going through it together. But I think post this vaccine, if they want to keep encouraging people, there might be a difference between the people who can and the people who can't. And they might just keep making things more privileged for the people who have been vaccinated, until people who haven't been are so fed up that they just give in and they take it. So I'm just hoping that 70% of people do it willy-nilly and we don't have to deal with that, because I think that's what the future looks like, I think.
Luanda, but would you take it?
No.
Oh, okay. Because you were talking about the 60-70%, and I'm like,
yeah,
why are
I'm
you saying
fingers
that you
crossed,
hope
girl.
that the 60 to 70 take it because you don't want to be in the 30, you want to be in the 30% that doesn't take it?
Correct.
I knew as soon as she said that, that's what she meant.
Because I know, so like you guys is gonna make it really hard for me. Like I will take it if it gets I will take it if it gets really, really bad. Like if I want to do something that I can't do without the vaccination, I'm like, damn it, this is the final straw, and I'll take the vaccine. But
why would you not take it?
It's just not for me. I'm just good without. I'm okay. I'm just good without. I just don't.
Girl, what's the reason? Give a reason.
I just don't want to. Is that okay?
I'm sorry, Sophie. I have to agree with the Amanda's sentiment 100%. It's not for me, so I won't be getting it. And that's just personally for me.
What's the reason behind it? Like, is it medical? Is it environmental? Like, that's what I'm asking. Like, whether you want to take it or not, I don't have an issue. But I'm like, what's you guys' reasons behind it?
I think mine is built on an accumulation of different reasons, but none of them being stronger than the other, and none of them being strong whatsoever. So the first one is, it's just like, it's been kind of developed very quickly. If I were to get it, if I were to get it, like everyone would have to get it first before me, and then it'd have to be a long period of time for me to see, are there any side effects? Yes, no, maybe so. The second reason is I'm not like a vaccine person. I'm not an anti-vaxxer, but like, apart from the vaccines I had to get when I was a small child, I've never had any more either. Like, when you're a teen, a young girl, they offer you all the other ones in secondary school, and I've just kind of been like, no, thank you, I'm good. So it's kind of like, I'm good so far. I really don't need to go any further. And if everybody else gets it, then I won't need to get it. That was like the process of elimination in my mind. So that's why I won't be getting it.
Okay, so guys, this is actually very interesting because I wasn't sure if you would both be saying that you wouldn't take the vaccine, but I kind of understand it. But I guess for me, like, would you have felt more secure if it went, Anissa, I'm speaking to specifically, if it went through the long process? Because I agree, they have rushed it through, but it's only because we're in a global pandemic. Like, generally, when they did it for like the measles or rubella or whatever, they took time in doing it because most of the world wasn't affected by it. So that's why they have stepped up the processes. But it can take 10 years to get a vaccine through the processes. Are you saying that you would have preferred for them to have taken 10 years and then for us to stay in some sort of lockdown for the foreseeable future in order for you to feel safe?
I think what I'm saying is, for people who really want this vaccine and need it, then I completely understand why it's being rushed. For me personally, even 10 years is not enough. I'm only speaking for me, solid person. I need at least a good 100 years on it. And then I can see what the long-term effects are. I want to see, does it do anything along the generations? I can't, like, and this is slightly off topic, but this is also why I'm not a big support of certain contraceptions. They haven't been out long enough for me to know what the extreme long-term effects are going to be. So I just try to dabble away from things that haven't been around long enough. But if anybody wants to do it, then I think you should do it. If you feel comfortable with it, 100%. And to a point that you made earlier, Sophie, obviously they're going to make sure the vaccine that comes out is going to be safe because they don't want to put more people at harm. They want to rescue their economy. So they're going to try to put out the safest thing possible. So if you feel safe and happy in doing that, then that's what I think people should do. Personally, for me, it just is not safe enough. And that's all.
Okay.
I mean, I like that they're giving it to the frontline workers and the elderly and stuff. I'm not that important. I'm also not that vulnerable. So I'm happy I'm happy for everyone who needs it to go first. Happy to also not take it at all. I guess it's not really the fact that it came around so fast, because I think as soon as this was a big mess, people were working on it straight away. Like as soon as we went into the first lockdown, they were talking about vaccinations and where are we on the vaccination and the anti COVID-19. How are we, you know what I mean? So I don't feel pressed that it was rushed, because I think like science moves a lot faster now than it did when we were trying to do something about measles. So yeah, I just don't want to just don't want it. I think for me, go on.
I was going to ask Sophie if she was, if you were going to get it.
For me, like I said, like I don't really have, my reservations aren't major enough for me not to take it if it's offered to me and they say that I should. Like I don't have an issue. Like I said, I'm not going to be in any of the frontline services that need it. So I think there was like, at the moment, they outlined like a 9-step program for people who would need it, and I'm not in any of the 9 categories. So I'm like, I'll think about it when it comes around. But like I said, my sister's a nurse, so she's probably going to be upfront to take it. I have elderly family members, and I think for the majority of people who I've heard say they're not taking it, they're people who haven't seen the effects of COVID maybe on their immediate family. Because I know people who have had like grandparents die, parents die. I know a guy who COVID killed his mother and his father had already died, and now he's an orphan. So for people like that, when you see something up close and personal, then it can make it more real. Because I was even talking to a family member about my father-in-law. He passed away this year of cancer. And I was speaking to a family member, and I was like, if they had like a vaccine for that type of cancer, which can run through the family, would you take it? And she was like, in a heartbeat. In a heartbeat, even if there was some. And so I think it depends sometimes on your proximity to something, if that makes sense. But I think whoever wants to take it, take it. Whoever doesn't. But I agree with Luanda in that I definitely think they're trying to shop this. It's not mandatory line, but if enough people don't take it, 100%, I think they'll be coming. If you want to leave the country, you need to take it, because
and that's when I'll take
we can't risk you infecting other people. Therefore, if you haven't had it, you don't have to, but you can't travel. So I think it's going to come a mess. And I think one of my biggest issues has been, like I've said on the show, I'm a Christian. It's these Christian fanatics that are out there talking madness. I'm telling you, they are talking about it's Lucifer because it's called Luciphase, and it's this, and it might be this, and it's going to be the coming of all this mad stuff. I'm like, guys, like, come on, we have a tough enough time already. Like, stop making us seem like the crazies.
I feel like that's like that with a lot of extremist groups, though, and not to say like, but I'm even called soccer mums extremist groups. You know, people go on the mumsnet.com and they just like go crazy. But you know what I mean? Like anywhere where there is conspiracy lives, there's a group, then it's dangerous. But moving on to the second part of my question, do you think the government's campaign then is going to help people that are on the fence? Because personally, for me, as someone who's on the fence but leaning to more to one side of the garden, I'm not sure if watching a celebrity get it done live, or even Barack Obama, who I love so much, I don't think watching him get it on TV would help persuade me. Like personally, for me, it wouldn't. It's almost kind of like, I kind of think I understand the idea, but for me, it's kind of like turning it into like an Instagram ad. And I don't know how to make that make sense. But you know, when you see like the celebrities now doing Instagram ads about the plastic surgery they got, and I'm just like, whoa. We were happy when you were selling us diet teas, not things that are going to come into our bodies. It's way too much. And I feel like that's where we're going with the celebrities and public figures, even though it be serious people. This is like stuff that's going into our body. I don't know if I need the influence of someone powerful to push me there, you know? Do you know what I mean?
I do, but I still think it will help, because like, do you guys not remember when for the whole of Taylor Swift's career, she didn't talk about politics, and everyone was like, she's probably a conservative, that's why she's not talking about it. And then she started speaking about politics, and the first thing that she was vocal about was being, you know, anti-Trump a few years ago. And then as soon, like the very next day after she tweeted about politics or whatever, I think it was something crazy, like thousands and thousands of young people in America then registered to vote for the election, who otherwise just kind of, I guess, weren't thinking about it. So like, celebrities, they might not have influence over you personally, but they have such strong influence in general. And there are so many people, when they idolize someone and someone tells you that this is a good thing, this is okay, they're just going to listen, and they're not going to ask any questions. Some people, but would you want
them to have that kind of influence though?
They already have it.
In general.
I think for people like Obama and Boris, and I think George W. Bush said he'll take it online as well, I think people who believe in the vaccine. So I think these are people who genuinely believe that it's going to be a help. Like, I don't know about Boris, I don't know about Bush, but I trust that Obama is trying to say, look, I'm trying to talk specifically to the Black community, because there is such a distrust there with Black people, Black community, especially in America, because of vaccines. Or where you see what happened in the Tuskegee project or study, where they withheld penicillin from Black men who had syphilis so they could see what the results would be if with someone having syphilis for a long time, or testing out contraception on Black women, or making Black women infertile against their wishes. Like, all these things have fed into such major distrust. I can understand why Obama's saying it and doing it, because again, we're in a climate where ethnic minorities are more likely to die from COVID because of poor living standards or being in poverty or all these other things. So I think if you support that celebrity, it will make a difference. If you don't, then it won't. It's like voting. Like, people who like Taylor Swift might go out and vote, but then if Taylor Swift was a Republican and she was pro-Trump, then a lot of her supporters could have been on the bandwagon with her and then been promoting controversy, all these theories as well. So I think it really depends on if you're for that celebrity or not.
Yeah. I'm thinking, I heard you. That's just like, yeah, it was a lot to think about.
Mm-hmm.
There was definitely a lot to think about.